Hello and welcome to Creative by Nature. My name is Donna. All right, for our first gnome DIY, I have this Santa nightlight that I picked up from Dollarama. I am going to cover up the base with some masking tape. I want to make sure that I have the light sensor covered, and then I am going to be going in with some spray paint. Once the base is completely covered with the masking tape, I'll be giving it 2 to 3 coats of the heirloom white Rust-Oleum paint. Now, make sure you don't touch it while it's drying. I accidentally bumped it and it did cause a little blemish, but once I'm done, you won't see it. I have a square of felt cut out and I'm just measuring to make sure I have enough to create a hat. So I am going to lift one side and then the other side, and I'm going to glue the 2 edges together. If you're new to my channel, I want to say welcome. I'd love for you to join my community by tapping on the subscribe button as well as the bell to keep up to date with everything I have to share. So now I'm just measuring to see where I need to cut off my hat. There's a little bit of a ridge there, so I'm going to be cutting just underneath that. And then I'll just be trimming it off just to even it out. And then if you need to, you can cut off more so you have the desired size for your hat. So I have a piece of this chunky yarn from my stash, and I'm just going to cut a little bit off, and I'll be using this for the beard. I have lots of gnome tutorials, and you can see all the different ways I create some beards. I'll leave the playlist for you to check out down in my description box. So I'm just going to trim off as much as I need, and then I'll glue that into place. Now, these are going to be loose strands, so make sure you generously apply some glue and press that into place. I put the hat back on, and then I am going to go to the back side and now start to glue the hat into place. I always like to start at the back side. Trim off the beard as needed, and just be careful that you don't pull on these strands too hard. Don't worry, we will be gluing these into place some more. I like to use wood beads for the nose. You can use a pom-pom as well. Add a little bit of hot glue and just tuck that underneath the hat. And then I am going to be using a little bit of some fibers that kind of got loose, and I'll add that just underneath to create a mustache to cover up the underside where the other hole is. So now I'm just going to carefully lift the edge of the hat up and apply some hot glue just to the underside. That way here, all those beard strands will stay in place, and also the rest of the hat will be glued to the rest of the surface. I always like to add a little embellishment to the hats of my gnomes. I have this little star that was in my stash, so I'm just adding a bit of hot glue and adding it to the hat. I thought the star was perfect for this nightlight. And here is our nightlight gnome all lit up. Yes, the red still shines through, but as my kids have said, it looks like he's blushing, Mom. I love how this little guy turned out. It looks pretty unlit as well as lit. It's such a fun and unique piece for any decor. I want to welcome you all to my Gnome for the Holidays series. Today's video is part of my DIY Gnome Challenge. I invited creators as well as viewers to take part. Check out the playlist below for what the creators have made, and check out the hashtag DIY Gnome Challenge over on Instagram to see what viewers have created. I want to thank you all for participating. All right, on to our next light up gnome. I have this jar and I got these socks from Dollar Tree. They are low cut kids socks. I'm going to place this jar inside the sock and then I am going to trim off just underneath where the lid sits. So once you have your sock trimmed off, you're going to use a little bead of glue and adhere the sock to the jar. Again, you want it to be just underneath where the lid will be sitting. Again, I'll be using the chunky yarn to create a beard. I have cut a piece and this time I am going to use a string and I am going to tie the clump off at the top. I really don't want the pieces to fall apart as this is quite a bulky piece. I'm just going to ruffle up the bottom part there and then trim off the edges just to form a beard. Now, as you can see, I have the lid placed back on the jar. I'm applying glue just to the lid rim and then pressing the beard into place. Now I'm going to be adding this cone to the top. It's about 5.5 inches tall. I'm going to generously apply glue to the lid and then put the foam cone into place and then allow the glue to set. I found these socks at Dollar Tree. They reminded me of work socks. I am going to trim off just the top portion of the sock. You can set the foot portion aside for a later project. So now I'm going to take that top portion of the sock and slip it over the cone. So you can see that the sock wants to naturally roll up. I'm just adding a little bit of hot glue and that'll prevent it from fraying. So I have my hat pulled down where I need it. I'm just going to flip it up and add hot glue only onto the lid. I only want to attach the hat to the lid. I want to make sure it is not attached directly to the white sock. It's very important that you keep the two pieces separate. So I just glued on either side of the beard as well. So now I'm just going to use some baker's twine and just tie off the tip of my hat. I like to use string. Some people will use elastic bands. I just like the looks of the string, and then I can also tie a cute little whimsical bow. Again, I'm using a wood bead for my nose, and it's about 1.5 centimeters. And you could use a pom-pom as well. This one does not have any holes in it, so I'm just adding some hot glue, putting it into place, tucking the nose up under the hat and into the beard, and just adjusting things so it sits nicely. So you could leave the gnome as is if you choose. I am going to add some bells to embellish the top of the hat. You could add little berries or some greenery. I am also going to be using these Dollar Tree wood embellishment stickers. I'm going to be using some distress ink just to color them up. You can use whatever you'd like. Okay, so now time for the fun part. I have these fairy lights from Dollar Tree, and I am removing the lid from my jar. That's right, if you didn't glue the two pieces together, you will be able to remove the lid. I'm going to tuck these lights inside the jar along with the battery pack, place the lid back onto the jar, being careful not to get your beard caught. And there you have it, a really cute, whimsical light up gnome. I absolutely love how this little guy looks. He looks so warm and cozy and inviting. I would love to know which one is your favorite. I want to say a big thank you to all who joined me for this challenge today, and I want to thank you all for watching. Don't forget to check the playlist as well as Instagram for more gnome inspiration. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.